Hello. On today's episode, cat ears. I would like to talk about some of my favorite words that I made for Xzedau. I could like these words for either what they mean, the way they sound, or just the vibes that I get from the word. I accidentally end up making Xzedau into a very neurodivergent language, by which I mostly mean it's very literal and you can make some very specific words by attaching a bunch of affixes. God damn, these things are a pain in the ass to keep on. Okay, they fit now. Just don't move. This is an example of making really stupid words that have very long translations into English. This word's pronounced Xzedau Zusavam means something like, if I had been losing. I mostly just like this word because it made me realize the really dumb stuff that you can do with verbs specifically and just make them very long. Breaking this word down, we have the root word stratsk, which means to lose. Next is the prefix ja, which is the progressive aspect marker. The infix zusa is the conditional marker, which that is exclusively a formal thing, but it makes the word longer, so it's funny. And then the affix vam is the first person singular past tense ending. Stay on. You can put different infixes into verbs, so we can get words like jestratsi nevam, which is I had been losing perfective, and Jestratsi krivam, which is I had been repeatedly losing, which is a very difficult word to say. This is my favorite insult in Xzedau, partly because very few native speakers take it seriously since it's such an absurd word. Tenda is a combination of ten, which means stupid, and dea, which is the superlative adjective affix. Putting these together, we have most stupid, which normally would be like whatever, but people use this word as a noun in slang, in which case it means basically the most stupid person in town, or the most stupid person in the general vicinity. This is a word that I don't actually know how to translate. Breaking it apart, it's a combination of magen, which is dream, and kraft, which is like the study of the noun that it's attached to, or some other type of profession relating to that noun. Other examples would be Jetkraft, Wetzenkraft, etc. And then you have kraftem, which is a person that does that job or studies that thing, such as a Wattiskraftem, which is an eye doctor. But Magencraft is a difficult word to translate. You could translate it as the study of dreams, and you'd be right, but there's a bit more to it than that, especially when you have Magencraftem, which I usually translate as engineer because the best literal translation into English would, I guess, be a person that imagines and creates their thoughts, but not necessarily an artist, as that's Verkraftem. Magencraft is the study of dreams, but it's also sort of like the study of how people imagine and think. My personal favorite word in Xzedau is, of course, my channel name, purely because this word is a meme in the setting. It is a highly specific word that no one uses, and it ends in a four-consonant coda, which by itself ends with a syllabic alveolar trill. Funny little fact about that, the letter R, or res, is usually pronounced as an alveolar trill or a fricative. I usually end up pronouncing it more like a fricative, but it sometimes gets devoiced to the voiceless uvular fricative after voiceless sounds, and between vowels it usually is pronounced like the voiceless velar fricative. However, sometimes it is syllabic, in which case it is always the alveolar trill and never appears as the alveolar trill anywhere else. Some dialects just delete syllabic R's entirely since they're so rare. But that doesn't happen in the majority of dialects. But if that's not enough, it's also a very highly specific medical word that no one uses regularly. Because of its unique features, Eschentr paradoxically became a commonly used word as a meme, and eventually through slang became used for nonsense or something very specific or cursed. Xzedau speakers still joke about how it's so rare and make so many memes about it to the point where it becomes one of the first words that people learn when learning Xzedau as a second language, just through sheer exposure to it.
Aqui eu consider vezes hettasche finnes.
But what does Eschentr mean formally? Well, its original meaning is nervous system. It's pretty bad, but I bet you were expecting something more specific though, weren't you? But that's another bit of the joke, and here we get a glimpse of Xzedau humor, making something seem so much more than it really is. Xzedau speakers are basically walking shitposts, and this is a joke that encapsulates that. Xzedau humor is mostly just making yourself laugh, and if someone else gets it, then they were in on the joke. But if they don't get it, then their reaction makes the joke even better because you made yourself laugh at your own joke, and then the other person doesn't get it, and their reaction becomes something for you to laugh at as they struggle to understand or figure out why it's funny, and you will just never tell them because you'd like to see them struggle to figure it out more. You could say that's mean, and you're right, but consider the following. You live in a cold wasteland near the North Pole of your planet, you never get sunlight, and something is always lurking, waiting for you to be sad or nervous, and once you are, you're giving it more energy, and it'll find you eventually. It's not a fairy tale. There's constant reports of creatures breaking into people's bedrooms at night, always going after people that were in a depressive state. Those people are never seen again. So you do everything you can to make yourself happy. Telling jokes to make yourself laugh is an easy way to get rid of negative emotions, so why wouldn't you? This word just means end. I like it because I think it's pretty and fun to say.